In part 1, my daughter and I signed up for our motorcycle licenses together. I told my wife I would supervise as the experienced one. Then we both took the RTA yard test. And the experienced one, me, the guy who rode daily for 4 years back in the early 90s and then parked it for 30 years, failed it. Before you feel too smug on my behalf, she failed her first attempt too. So this is the story of how a man running on 4 years of 1990s riding experience and a 17-year-old who would basically never ridden anything got humbled by the same painted yard in the same week, and exactly how we both came back and passed. This is the yard test. All the exercises, the rules that quietly fail you, and the single most humbling afternoon of my riding life, narrated as is now tradition by the man who lost. Quick context: before they ever let you onto a public road, you do the yard test. It's a closed yard painted with lines and boxes where an examiner checks one thing: can you actually control a motorcycle at low speed? And it comes before your road classes, not after. Pass it and you graduate to the road. Fail it and you pay to book it again. I personally became a major donor to the RTA that month. I'm hoping for a small plaque. The yard test is a fixed set of exercises, the same ones across schools, even if they number them differently. Walk in knowing all of them and half the fear disappears. Here they are. Number 1, the left turn and box stop. You do your head check, move off, shift up a gear and take a left turn between two yellow lines without kissing either of them. Then you stop, dead center a little box, front tire on the box, engine running, right foot on the brake, left foot down outside the box. Only the left foot. The right foot stays up. Put it down here. An examiner's pen is already moving before your boot hits the ground. Number 2, slow riding. You ride a short stretch and you must take a minimum of 10 seconds to do it. 10 seconds. That sounds like nothing until you are balancing a motorcycle at walking pace with your feet glued to the pegs, counting 1001, 1002. While every instinct screams, just put a foot down. 10 seconds, I made life's decision in less time. This is the one that quietly breaks experienced riders, the confident ones especially. Hold that thought, preferably with both feet on the pegs. 3, the right turn. Same discipline, other direction. Head check, first to second gear, ride indicator on before you turn, arc through without touching the line, indicator off after. The examiner wants to see the signal and the head turn. Make them obvious. Subtlety is not rewarded here. 4, the emergency brake. Get up to the yard speed around 20, then stop the bike completely before the 5th line, not drifting onto it. Before it, both. The braking lane is marked out in numbered lines for exactly this, and the examiner is watching where your front wheel finally stops, like a referee at a very tense long jump. 5, the curves. You ride an S through 2 curves, staying inside the line. And here is the killer rule: no brakes and no clutch through the turn. You set your speed before you enter and you hold it. Grab a brake mid-curve out of habit and that's a fall. This is muscle memory fighting you, and my muscle memory was last updated in 1992. 6, the signal box. You ride in and a light decides your fate and random. Red, you stop. Green arrow left, you go left. Green arrow right, you go right. And the trap that catches everyone. On a go signal, you do not touch the brake. People see a light change, panic, grab a handful of brake, fail. It is a traffic light with a body count. It's testing your nerve as much as your hands. And here is a tip most people miss. Everything I just walked through, the examiner is scoring on an official RTA sheet, fault point by point. Most schools will show it to you if you simply ask. It's worth a proper look because it spells out every single thing that costs you mark. The 2 big ones are right there. Take less than 10 seconds on a slow ride or drop under 20 on the brake, and that's point gone. I'll put it on the screen now. Pause the video and read it. Now, underneath all 6 exercises, there are really only 3 rules the examiner cares about. 1, a head check, left and right before every single move. They literally want to see your head turn. If your head doesn't move, in their eyes, you didn't check. 2, never touch a line. Yellow or white, doesn't matter. 3. Never grab the brake or the clutch when you are between the lines, mid-turn or on a go signal. Touch a line, drop the wrong foot, brake at the wrong moment, and your afternoon is over before it really started. Master these 3 and the 6 exercises become choreography. Ignore them and they become a very expensive interpretive dance. So how did the experienced rider do? I failed first attempt. A man who rode a motorcycle daily through university 3 decades ago and then told his wife he would be supervising could not pass that beginner's yard test. And the instructors were so kind about it, which honestly made it so much worse. Now, my daughter failed her first attempt too, but her was one microscopic miskind that has nothing to do with whether you can ride. Mine was just me, rediscovering that confidence is not a substitute for low speed balance. And here's the part I'm actually proud of. We both went back. We both passed on the second attempt. And just to twist the knife, she passed her retest before I passed mine. A girl who had ridden a bicycle for a few months as a kid and her dad running on 4 years of riding from the early 90s, same result, same week. She matched me step for step. If I'm honest, she outrode me. And if any of this makes you nervous about your own attempt, take comfort. People fail this test a lot. I read one rider's full account who failed the yard test 4 separate times. Some of it genuine examiner bad luck before finally passing on the 5th. So when I tell you we passed on attempt 2, understand that in this game, that's practically a victory lap. So what would I tell you before you walk in? 4 things. 1. Practice the slow ride more than anything else. That 10 seconds is where experienced riders get cocky and beginners get tense, and both fail. Practice in an empty car park until 10 seconds stops feeling like a hostage negotiator. Master it and you have beaten the hardest part. 2. Exaggerate your head checks. Turn your whole head every time. Make it theatrical. Make sure the examiner cannot miss it. 3. Stay off the brake in the curve and on every go signal. Set your speed early, then keep your fingers relaxed. And 4. Accept that the examiner you draw matter. Some are stricter than others and you can't control them. So you can only ride your cleanest run and rebook if the dice go against you. 2 of us proved you can fail, regroup and park. So if attempt 1 goes sideways, it is generally not the end. Pass the yard test and you are finally allowed where the real world is, the road. That's part 3. The final RTA road test on the actual academic city route, which I went back and filmed corner by corner, so you will know every single spot where students lose marks. If the slow ride scares you too, hit like. It tells me to keep making these. Subscribe so part 3 finds you. And I'll see you on the road. Me, MotoMoku. Ride safe, feet up.